I'm adding dates to my blender. This is about 8 medjool dates. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add about 1/3 cup of creamy peanut butter to my blender. We're making one of my favorite candy bars growing up, so I am super excited to share this healthier version of Paydays. If you've had a Payday, let me know in the comments what you think of them, if you like them, or if you're not a fan. Let me know in the comments. Next, I'm gonna add about 1/3 cup of vanilla protein powder. So now I'm just gonna take the top to my blender and place this right on top. And then I'm gonna grab my blender here, and we are gonna blend this until smooth. We might have to add a little bit of almond milk, but we're gonna see how this works. All right, let's blend this up. So we are going to add a little bit of almond milk. You could also just add water. We wanna add just enough so that it's going to blend. So we'll start off with a small amount, and you can always add more. So let's try this. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and scrape the sides. Also, if you have a food processor, that honestly might be the easiest route to go for this recipe, but that's okay. We're using a blender because that is what I have right now. It's looking really good. I'm just gonna blend it one more time. So here we have our peanut buttery caramel layer. Those dates are gonna add a really nice caramel flavor to this. And then we have our peanut butter and then our protein powder to kind of hold it all together. I love this blender because you can just take the bottom part right off. Doesn't that look kind of funny? So we're just gonna set that right here, and I'm gonna try to scrape all of this out of the blender. This is why I said it might be a little bit easier to use a food processor for this recipe, but a blender works too if that's what you have, like me. So we have our peanut butter caramel mixture, and as you can see, it's very sticky. So here's where we're gonna add in 1/4 cup more of protein powder, just so we can get this into more of a dough form. So we'll just mix that all together. I don't like adding all of the protein while we blend because it just gets too thick for the blender or the food processor. So that's why we add some during and then the rest right after blending. Everyone's protein powders will be a little bit different, but you are just gonna keep adding protein until we get a nice dough formed. So it'll be different if you're using a plant-based protein versus something like a whey protein. And if you don't want to use protein powder, just let me know in the comments and I will send you an alternative to use that most people will already have in their pantries. So this recipe is super easy to make if you don't have protein powder as well. So this is just about the exact texture we're going for. So here is our peanut caramel layer. Let's get it all nice and combined. It's gonna be a little bit sticky, but that's okay. That's just from the dates, so it's gonna be inevitable. But we have more of a dough here, as you can see. I have a tray lined, and I'm just gonna scoop out some of this dough. And I'm just gonna kind of gently form it into a bar shape. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, just kind of something like this. Like I said, doesn't matter if it's perfect or not because we are gonna roll it in some peanuts, just like the classic Paydays that you remember. I actually feel like this looks really like a Payday. So I'm gonna place it here on my tray, and then we'll do the next. I love that these are also kind of like protein bars because you have a solid amount of protein in here from both the protein powder and those peanuts, and you have some nice health benefits from the dates and great alternative to those regular Paydays. Also, I tried a little bit of the batter and it is delicious, you guys. So I cannot wait to try these out. So we'll place that right here. So it definitely helps if you get your fingers lightly wet with water before trying to form them. It will just help them not to stick quite as much to your hands. So I will say these are a little bit messy, but they're gonna be worth it, trust me. Roll it in our peanuts, place it right onto our parchment paper lined tray. And if they're not all the same size, that's perfectly fine. I actually do that on purpose because sometimes I want a bigger bar, sometimes I want a smaller. So I'm just rinsing my fingers in between each bar so that I can easily form these without them sticking. I'm actually so excited about how well these turned out. Only sweetener in these are those medjool dates, so it's naturally sweetened. You could also just make these into like little protein balls and then roll them in the peanuts. That would work too. I'm just wanting the full Payday effect, so that's why I'm making them into little mini bars. I actually think these look so good. I'm so excited about how well they're turning out. So let me know in the comments what your favorite candy bar was growing up or your favorite candy bar is now. And I wanna do a full series where I remake candies into healthier versions. So all your favorite candy bars or any kind of candy, let me know in the comments what your favorite is, and I'm gonna try to make a healthier version for us. I have always had a huge sweet tooth growing up, so I'm here for this series. I'm doing it, as much as I'm doing it for you guys, I think I might be doing it for myself more. All right, we can make one more here. You could make these into mini bars too. I'm going more for the king-sized candy bars, because it's just kind of girl. I'm more of a king-size kind of girl. All right, so I'm gonna take our healthy Paydays and stick them in the freezer for maybe like 30 minutes, not a super long time. We just wanna get them nice and set before we try them out. Our Paydays just came out of the freezer. They were in the freezer for about 30 minutes, and I think these are the perfect texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and try one of these. Let's take a close up. I actually think that these look pretty close to regular Paydays. What do you guys think? So, moment of truth. We're gonna see how they line up to regular Paydays. Look at that texture. It tastes perfectly caramely and peanutty. These are so good. You have to make them if you like regular Paydays and want a healthier alternative. They're so easy to make and they turned out absolutely fantastic.